Monster Mike. Yes, I've got the 6-foot marionette witch from Home Depot. After Halloween 2024, this was put back on a shelf, and I got this thing for $15. Is it worth it? I don't know. I've never even seen one in person because they didn't have this one out at my Home Depot, so I've only seen it on videos. But 15 bucks, that's like getting 12 items at the Dollar Tree. You probably can't even make that dress for $15. And I'm an animatronic freak, so $15 is money well spent. Is there a ton of videos on this? Yes. Am I making my own? Let me get this thing open and check it out. I'm definitely excited. I know that there is issues with the audio on this, but like I said, $15, how can you go wrong? All right, it is looking like most of it is just put together. Wow, that head's pretty big actually. I didn't think that was gonna be that big. She has got a good sized melon on her. Got the frame right there. Looks like wood, it's metal. Not sure the best way, so I'm just gonna start yanking stuff out of here. Okay. Which actually looks like she's gonna be pretty good size. I thought it was gonna be smaller than this. So, it's definitely packaged nice. I mean, her head is as big as mine, if not bigger. She's got some pretty good size hands. Looks like some carved wood. Those feet look good. The material feels pretty good. The hair's a little lackluster. The hat's nice. Right there looks like the power cord for the head coming out of the hat. So that's nice. It just kind of goes up and is hidden. I did not think it was going to be this big. Oh, Hercules, Hercules. So the rest is just framing and the control box. This is very cool. I'm assuming this is made for outdoor. It's got to be. It's got a watertight plug. It's all covered plastic, not like bobby strings. I have bobby strings and I really love them. He's one of my favorite. But this is really nice that you have this option to put this outside. You could do that with bobby strings, but you got to modify that hanger. That's it in the box. So this is everything to put the marionette witch together. It's 6 parts plus that power supply. So you got the main frame, you have 2 extension pieces which are part B, and then you have a part D which is optional if you want to extend this. You might even be able to do a B and a D and keep this thing at tabletop height instead of having the base down on the floor. I'm just going to do the base, B, and the top, and we'll see how that works. B in, and be in. Okay, next goes the top. If you want to put part D, that extension piece, you can also do that. Yeah, this thing feels pretty stable actually. And it's a good height. And that witch is a pretty good size. She's smaller than bobby strings, but it's still actually a fairly good size. I thought it was going to be much smaller, but it's bigger. I mean, for $15, I'd be happy with just that. So the first part of hanging this witch, she's got 2 straps on each shoulder. Those get hooked to the eyelets that are on the frame. Oh, voila. She's got eyelets on both of her knees, just like bobby strings. And then on her hands, it's actually in part of the mold for the hands. Next, you take the 2 longest wires and connect those to the knees. And that is the 2 back ones. The front ones are going to go to the hands. We got a wire coming out of the hat, which connects right to the top of the frame up there. Make sure you put it in correctly. It is a 4-pin. The power adapter goes right at the back of the top of this frame here. There's also the volume control and the on-off switch right there. And then on the framing coming down, there's some wire channels so you can really hide that power adapter. If you just having adults around, you may want to go ahead and use this part D to extend this up because she is kind of facing down. But if this is really just for trick-or-treaters or kids, it's probably the perfect height just like this. And in fact, you could take one of these B's out and replace it with the D and she'll be much shorter. I just want to see if this will work like this, because you could just put this on a counter or something. And yes, it's actually perfect like that too. And for the little kids, that's going to be even better because it's going to be right down at them, right in their face. Much more interactive for those trick-or-treaters. This may be the way to go instead of having it up higher.
Where magic moves spell. In the darkest of night, I gain more power from all the signs. Now if I can get this spell right, I can reverse this cursed life.
Alright, so here it is with the optional D extension pole. You can see it is much higher like that. We're going to go ahead and turn this thing on.
In the shadows I dwell, where magic rules spell. In the darkest of night, I gain more power from all the signs. Now if I can get this spell right, I can reverse this cursed life.
I'm not gonna lie, this thing looks great, but I do agree the audio quality is crap on this. I don't know where Home Depot dropped the ball on their audio with their 2024 animatronics, but this is by far the worst one. Now I don't know if it's just the one that I got or if it's on all of them, but the audio knob on here is also not that great. It doesn't go from nothing gradually up to all the way loud. This one just goes from nothing straight to loud, so you don't really have any kind of in between. On the one that I have, I haven't really heard any complaints on that. Of course, lots of complaints on the audio, but for 15 bucks, I'll take this any day. Works great.
Bones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me? Huh. Words have turned my bones into sticks. That's what I get for getting lucky and testing spells on myself. Oh, but you look like a real test subject. Yes, come here. Would you like me to give you immortality? We can try it a few times till we get it right. And we'll turn into a phone, whistle, or clock. But don't worry, it will be relatively painless for me.
What the hell did she say? That audio is garbage. You gotta admit, this thing looks great though, and I did not realize she was gonna be that big. Of course, if you just want that creep factor, put it on the lights only mode, have it static, and it's gonna look great just like that. Definitely think this is a great height for just displaying this thing, but I think the right way to go on this is take one of these B poles out and use this D. That way you get it down to the smaller trick-or-treaters height, and it's just much more interactive for them, and they're really gonna love it. It's not a real scary animatronic anyway, so getting it down in their face at their height is just going to be awesome like that. Other than that audio quality, I really have no complaints on this. I think it looks great. I think it functions great. It's an awesome animatronic, and for $15, I would buy this thing 15 times. Hopefully Home Depot fixes that on their 2025 animatronics, because the audio was just less than subpar for 2024. You gotta fix that, Home Depot. All right, I changed some lighting in here. Gonna go ahead and turn this thing back on. It's all the way up.
Where magic rules spell. In the darkest of night, I gain more power from all the signs. Now if I can get this spell right, I can reverse this cursed life. Would you like a friendship bracelet? Epic sexy forever, as I tie your soul to mine.
Now they did do a good job where they put that speaker placement. It's right above her head, so when you're looking at it, it does seem like it's coming out of her mouth. Went ahead and opened this thing up for this marionette witch, and this speaker actually looks okay. So what I'm thinking is underneath here, you can see how it's all plastic, so it's kind of muffled. So I'm gonna take that speaker off of there and I'm gonna cut that plastic out. I went ahead and tried a different speaker other than that. And even with a better speaker, it sounds bad. So it's just the audio file that's downloaded to the board. But if you take those plastic pieces and cut them out, it will sound better because those make it sound even more muffled. All right, so here's the deal. The best audio you're gonna get out of this marionette witch is to move that speaker out of the way and cut those baffles out on both sides. You don't have to take the speaker off. Just be careful with your knife if you're gonna do it from this side. But as you can see, that's where it's muffled. And I really don't care how that looks. If you're worried about it, you could even glue a little piece of felt on there to cover that up. But that will definitely help with that muffled sound. All right, here she is after I cut those baffles out. And you cannot even really tell. I'm sure people aren't gonna notice at all unless you get really close and you know what you're looking for. But like I said, you could take some felt and you could hot glue it over that in a nice little square or circle and you'll never know. But I'm gonna leave it open just like that, just so it sounds a little bit better. So I got the baffles cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. It does sound just a little bit better. So if you can do this, you will get a little bit better sound, but it still is not the greatest.
In the shadows I dwell, where magic wounds its spell. In the darkest of night, I gain more power from all the signs. Now if I can touch this spell once, I can reverse this cursed life.
I will say, at least I can kind of make out what she's saying better now, so it is worth doing that if you have the marionette witch. It does have an audio jack right here, so maybe if you plug this into an external speaker, it might sound better, but I'm thinking it's just the sound file on the card. But listen, it's April. It's time to get ready for Halloween. It's right around the corner. Haunted Attic Monster Mike, and I'm out.